to be able to be courteous of everyone's time that is on the call, I would love to get started and welcome you all to Empower World's webinar, Getting to Yes, Having a Career and Life You Love. My name is Tracey Livingston. I will turn on my video camera so you can see me. I'm really close. Okay. My name is Tracey Livingston. I'm actually in London right now, and I'm the business manager for Empower World, and I do a number of different responsibilities, one of which is to assist and support the webinars that we do and all of the great work and training that the company has to offer. And so I'll be on the call today moderating and assisting with anything that you need. And so I do want to say that our facilitator of the day is Marie Quigley, who was one of the founders of Empower World. Marie's amazing. I believe a few of you already know Marie and have chatted with her in the past. But if you are new, welcome. And let's get started. So Marie, if you could go to the next slide, that would be great. All right. I'm a bit of a techie, and so in order for us to have a really great webinar day, I just want to say a few things that we can do to ensure the connection and everything it goes really well. So if you are listening to the webinar, if you could please mute yourself as well as turn off your video camera. When you are speaking, if you do, you can turn on your video camera. That's really nice, personal way to connect. But please keep those off while Marie is doing the training. Also, if you are on your computer or your laptop, if you could close out of any web browsers you're in, such as Google Chrome or Firefox, as well as pause any downloads or streaming of YouTube videos or anything you're doing, all of that actually takes up bandwidth and depletes kind of the webinar's speed. And so to engage in the webinar, please chat in the chat box, which a number of you have already done. And if you hover your mouse over your screen, you'll be able to see a little chat box at the bottom. Click on that and then you can type anything. So if you can't hear us or you have a question, please let us know. And we really want this to be engaging, so jump in when you feel like you have something you want to say. And yeah, so that will have us have a great webinar. And then a little bit about Empower World. Marie, if you'd like to go next slide. Great. So there's a lot going on this slide and on this page, but the photo is of Marie and Janine and a few other Empower World coaches and incredible people who have really been building this company over the last 5+ years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marie. And the company has done has a number of specialties. One is they do public and in-house coach training programs, specifically the ICF approved coach training, where we have one coming up next week, which you'll hear about. They do life and executive coaching, as well as have a number of associates that work for them as coaches and really supports the coaching industry in Doha and in Qatar. They run a coach mentoring program. They facilitate a number of workshops and trainings such as this, and the list goes on. They do a number of great work through podcasts and education and really connecting the community together. They've worked with a number of companies throughout Qatar, as well as a number of corporations, really working with their leadership and executives to be the best leaders they can, and they use that through coaching. And so that is a little bit about Empower World. If you are familiar or not with the company, feel free to check out our website and listen to some of our podcasts to hear more. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Marie, and I will be turning off my video camera, but I am happy to jump in if you need anything. So thanks again, everyone, and thank you, Marie, and I will see you later.
Thank you very much, Tracey. Yes, I'll be looking forward to you assisting me as we go through tonight's call. And welcome, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Marie Quigley. As Tracey said, I'm one of the co-founders and directors of Empower World, along with my fabulous business partner, Janine Bailey, who can't join us tonight. But if you check out some of our videos on our Facebook group and YouTube, you will see her talking to past participants who've already been in this program. And there's some wonderful little videos going up at the moment with those participants sharing how coaching has impacted and changed their lives since joining the program. So please do check it out. So I suppose the question is, are you ready for something new? Are you ready for potential change? Are you an expat from wherever around the world looking to create a life that really is inspiring for yourself? Are you a mum who has small children and know that you'd love to get into the workforce, but you want to work it around your family? Are you somebody who wants to bring coaching into the workplace and make a difference there? Are you someone that really wants to build on your relationships and understand other people better? Are you someone who wants to understand yourself even better? Well, let me tell you, if you're any of those, you are absolutely in the right place tonight. We're going to go through a series of inspiring stories and answer some of your questions that you may have about how coaching can really inspire you to have the life and career and path that you want. So please, as Tracey said, if you want to reach your hand up and ask a question, we're only a small number tonight, so feel free to do that. So thinking about you and your talents and why you have reached out here tonight, I'm curious to know, and I can probably guess that a lot of you here tonight, people are constantly reaching out to you, asking you for advice. They come to you when they need support because you're a natural listener and you communicate well and you support people in your life to create things that they haven't even thought of before. You're full of ideas and you're really inspiring in your own unique way. And that doesn't have to be in a loud and fabulous, outgoing way. It could be in a quiet way that you really take time to pay attention. However you do it, your talents are unique to you. And they are the ones that are going to support you to really connect with people at a deeper level. And some of the questions we think about when we come to coach training is, okay, I'm all of those things. I have loads of talents. People come to me all the time, but really, can I make a living doing this? Is there a profitable career for my talents? Can I really lead a life that is aligned to my values, working around my children, creating the relationships I want? Can I really become my own boss? Do I have it in me? I'm wondering how much time I need to invest in this thing called professional coaching. And how do I find out the best program for me? You could feel lost or simply don't know where to begin. Well, tonight, we're here to support you to answer your questions. And before we go into the type of questions so many of you are asking us on our podcasts and on our webinars and through Facebook and through email, I want to pause for a moment and just talk about a little thing called fear that often pops up when we want to do something new. When we feel we're going to be stretched out of our comfort zone, those little fear voices pop up. And those fear voices could sound very different for everybody. It could be, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough. It could be, I fear success. It could be, I fear failure. It could be, I fear giving up what I know now to try something different. It could be, I fear change. It could be, I fear if I step outside of my own comfort zone, I'm going to leave the people I love behind. Now, many people come with various differing amounts of fears into a coaching relationship. When you're a coach, your clients reach out to you because there is some kind of potential fear holding you back from achieving what you want. So every single one of us experiences fear in our own unique way. We are human. It is normal for that little voice to come up and try and protect us. But often that little voice gets so loud, it actually stops us doing from what we're truly meant to be doing, from using those magnificent talents. We can overthink things and make them bigger than they are. And our higher purpose that is calling us at the core of who we are, that voice gets pushed down because of that fear. So our job is to demystify the biggest questions we get about professional coaching and arm you with facts and real life stories so that you can make the decision whether this is something you'd like to step into. So before we go on, remember that fear is a normal thing to feel, and allowing it to come up and acknowledging that it's there is a really brave thing to do. The science behind fear is that in the old brain, our limbic part of the brain, where when we were cavemen and women, that tiger would come up and try and attack us, that fear stopped us from getting hurt. It told us to run, or it told us to hide, or it told us to move out of the way. Well, that fear comes, that voice of fear that assumes that a lion is there, comes every day in many different situations. And understanding that we can manage that fear, we can turn that fear around, we can move from the back part of our brain, the old brain, and start looking at our prefrontal cortex brain, the part of the brain that makes powerful, clear decisions. Coaching supports people to move from that fear place into moving towards what they want. Now, I won't get into that detail and that neuroscience about coaching tonight. We will share a little bit about that in the coach training that's coming up and on any of our coach training programs that we deliver throughout the year. So let's move on and see what some of the questions that are coming up for you are. So hello? Can you hear me, Tracey? Okay, my screen blocked, so I didn't know if I'd cut off. Beg your pardon. So the first question that so many of new people who come into coaching ask us, is it really a profitable career for my talents? Can I get paid for this thing called coaching? Can I really make the difference I want to and put bread on the table for my family? So the answer to that is yes. And I'll come on to a little story about how I made that decision and how it impacted me in a little while. So, as we said, coaching is one of the fastest growing fields. It's a $2 billion market. And your skills for making a difference are in demand. Your skills are unique. That means that only you have what your talents are. So there are plenty of skills you can learn, but you bring something special to the table. And that unique gift you have been given, when you give that gift out, as Janine and I believe, that investment you get from that and that money you receive from giving your talents is really purely an exchange of energy. So some research here has stated that the standard hourly rates for coaching is between $100 and $150 per hour. And the average annual income for coaches ranges from $55,000 to $116,000. And coaching rates can reach $300 to $600 per hour. Of course, this is a growing, beautiful business that takes steps. So as you begin your coach training, you potentially are not going to step into that kind of money straight away, but it's about building up your skills and building up your knowledge so that you can become the best coach possible. So before we go on, just let me tell you a little about myself and my journey into becoming a coach. Well, my background is in design and advertising, and I worked in advertising after completing my degree. And I realized I had a talent for supporting people to share their story, to get their ideas out. And I had a talent for supporting people to create what it is they wanted to create. The problem was I was in the wrong industry. In advertising, and I felt like I was selling things that people didn't need. I was creating these wonderful ideas boards and inspiring others, but it was not for products that I would use myself. And I had a real clash of a big conflict in my life as, yes, I loved supporting people to get these ideas out, but how could I do it in a different way? And so for many years, I moved through teaching and training and different aspects. And as I grew older and got married and had children, I gave up that side of the career to look after my own children. And when I had my third child, I realized that I wanted something else, and I wanted to use the skills that had been set up before within me that I'd recognized. I wanted to use those skills, but in a different way, that I wanted to support others to really transform their lives. And for many years, I put that dream in a box, thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not clever enough, how can I possibly inspire someone? And then one day I went to a talk about coaching, and I recognized with all of my heart that this is what I wanted. I wanted to inspire people through questioning, through listening, through paying attention, so that I could support them to create their own vision of success. And as I attended the coach training that I did all those years ago, I got so much more than that. I got to look inside of myself and find out what my talents truly were and how to bring them to the foreground. I got to understand my passion, my mission, my purpose. I got to understand my saboteurs and my limiting beliefs, and I got to be able to turn them around and step into the confident person that I truly was. I shed some of those skins that didn't suit me anymore, and I stepped into a new way of being and doing that really impacted so many areas of my life. Of course, I'm not perfect, I'm human, and I'm still on that journey of mastery and self-discovery. But through that understanding of myself and learning the skills of coaching, I have been able to support and touch the lives of so many people, along with my business partner, who also went on her amazing journey to come to this place where we are in Empower World. So before we go on, are there any questions that you'd like to ask about anything we've discussed so far? And you can unmute yourself and come on, or you can tap in the chat box. No? No questions so far? No question, Dalal. Thank you for coming back to me. Okay, so we'll continue. So hopefully I've answered that first question. If you can make money doing this beautiful thing that they call coaching. The second question we often get is, how much time will this take? Well, as we know, to become professional in anything, it gives some time and investment from our side. There are programs out there that say you can become a coach in a weekend. Well, we know for sure that those programs don't create professional accredited coaches. And at the same time, our coaches go through a program, beginning with an 8-day program, live training program with myself and Janine and our training support, to become the first step in becoming a credentialed. Now, the whole process takes on average between 6 and 9 months to become accredited. It depends on you and how much time you're willing to invest in it. It depends on how quickly you do your coaching hours. And as you can see from this slide, you're required to do 100 coaching hours with friends and family. 75 of those hours, the ICF requests that you charge for. So you're already starting to make some money as you begin your coach training program. It doesn't mean you charge a lot. It means you charge whatever you're comfortable for. And actually in the ICF, the investing that they ask you to make when you're charging people is that potentially it's an exchange of services, that it's reciprocal coaching, or if you know somebody who fixes computers, that you can exchange your services. That's also considered paid coaching. So as I said, on average, it takes between 6 and 9 months to complete the process of becoming accredited. Now, some of our coaches take longer than that. Some of them decide, no, I'm going to take it slower. I'm going to build up my skills. I'm going to do some mentoring. I'm going to get a coach of my own. And I'm really going to understand this and work it around my family. And for them, it has taken 18 months. So you can absolutely take it at your own pace. So another fabulous question that we get is, can I coach in my current job? Well, absolutely. If it's part of your job description, that's wonderful. But even if it isn't part of your job description, the skills you will learn in this 8-day coach training program support you to ask powerful questions, support you to communicate with others in a much more powerful way. You learn about the different personality styles and how to interact with the domineering or the inspiring or the steady or the conscientious styles that you work with. It supports you to manage your emotions and look at your mindset. It supports you to change your decision-making process so that it empowers you rather than disempowers you. It supports you to build up rapport and trust in groups and individually. And it teaches you the tools to really empower teams and organizations as a whole. So from the get-go, you're going to be learning skills that you can bring into the workplace or your home life to create transformation for yourself, above all, first of all, and then for others. So here's one of our coaches, the wonderful Michelle Arscott. She is a mum of 2. She's a really inspiring lady that did our coach training a couple of years ago and become accredited. And as she said, for her, there is no day that is ever the same. Michelle does some executive coaching with Empower World. She works around her children. She works sometimes in the mornings, working around the school run and managing her young family. She books clients in at times that suit her. She works via Skype, which a lot of coaches around the world do. They work, including myself and Janine, so we have a global network of clients who, like we're doing tonight, tap in using Zoom or Skype to have really powerful conversations that matter. And actually, one of the questions that comes up in our coach training a lot is, how can coaching work via Skype? But you can see it tonight. You can see how easily we're connecting across the airways. So it is absolutely possible to design your coaching practice any way you like. So before we go on, I'm going to check in with you. Tracey, do you have any thoughts to share before I move on, or anything that's coming up in the chat box that I haven't seen? Can't hear you, Tracey.
How about now?
Great.
Okay, I was thinking when you were chatting about, how do people find clients? That might be something where, you're credentialed, you're ready to go. And I can imagine some individuals might feel, how do we even find people? So can you maybe give a variety of ways in which people do get clients, and what that looks like?
Great question, Tracey. And actually, let's begin when you're in the coach training. You have to get those 100 hours, right? So let's begin there. How do you get those 100 hours? Well, first of all, in the coach training, you will be paired with other participants to start coaching partnerships. You'll be paired with 2 other people so that you will be coaching them throughout the program and in between the sessions. And you can do that online too. So those coaching hours that you begin in the coach training, they can go towards your 100 hours. So you've already kick-started those 100 hours off. The next thing is you will be telling people you love, people you work with, people who you meet in coffee shops, that you're in a coach training program and that you're on your way to become accredited. And when you tell people that, you can share that you're open to creating coaching partnerships with them. Would they like to experience what coaching is? And you'll be surprised at how many people in your own network will put their hands up and say, I'd love to be coached. I'm curious to find out what this thing called coaching is. So that's another way. You share what you're doing. You share your passion for it with others. And suddenly all the people you know will be saying, yeah, I'll do an hour. I'll do 2 hours. The other way to do it is you'll be welcomed into the Empower World coaching community, where other coaches are moving towards their 100 hours, and you can do reciprocal coaching. So you log in, you ask people to partner with you, and you coach each other for however many sessions that you want. We've got somebody right now who's in our mentoring program, who's reaching out to other members of the mentoring group saying, hands up, I need some more coaching hours to get my 100 hours. So it's a fantastic community. And remember, those coaches, they have people in their families that also want to be coached. And they may not want to be coached by their wives. My husband never wanted to be coached by me. But other people could coach them. So potentially you could put your husband or wife up and they could swap and experience coaching from somebody else. So that covers your 100 hours of coaching. And then how to begin building your practice? Well, you've already begun, because you're already starting to get a reputation for really paying attention to people, to listening to them, to asking questions that nobody else asked. And that reputation grows. For me, the best way of building a coaching practice, and if I share my own experience, was word of mouth. So from my experience, I didn't have a website when I started. I didn't even have a business card. I coached and I supported people to create the change they wanted. I supported them to move from where they were then to where they wanted to be. And they left the coaching sessions and they shared their stories. And in sharing their stories, people came to me and said, you've coached so-and-so, please can you coach me? And so that word of mouth is such a fantastic way to build up your coaching practice. Of course, you're new when you first start, so it's about building your confidence. And during the coach training program, that already starts to happen. You start by the end of the 8 days, you're already recognizing the power that you have and the uniqueness that you have as a coach. Tracey, does that answer some part of the question that you asked?
Yes, that's really helpful to hear and inspiring to know. You know, some people may feel, oh, I don't have people lining up yet, but that when you do go through the coach training program or anywhere, that you have these hours where you already start connecting those networks and meeting people who can really support you. So absolutely.
Fantastic. How are we doing for time, Tracey?
We have about 25 minutes, so maybe another 15 to 20 minutes, and then we can take questions at the end, which I'd love to hear from others.
Lovely. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of a taste of what coaching can do for you. Is that all right with everybody? I think we have time for that, Tracey.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. So just take a look at your life right now and think of an area that's maybe causing you a little bit of concern or stress, or that it isn't really where you want it to be right now, and bring that area that you have to mind. And if you could put a number out of 10, how satisfied you are in that area of your life, just put a number. 0 being not satisfied at all, and 10 being absolutely, completely, 100% satisfied. And keep that number of satisfaction in your head. And just recognize the emotions that are coming up as you see that number on the page or see that number in your head. And notice the feelings you're feeling. And notice that maybe even fear has stepped up. And fear is causing you some pain. And just take a deep breath now, recognizing that that potentially is the reality or your perception of the reality now, right now. So take a breath and let it go. And for a moment, just allow your imagination to go to a place where if this area in your life were as you wanted it to be, what would it look like? If this were exactly as you wanted it to be, what is it that you'd be seeing? Begin first with yourself. What would you be seeing about you when it is as you want it to be? And when you're seeing that, what are you seeing around you when it is as you want it to be? What are you noticing about the people around you? What's your environment like when it is as you want it to be? And as you notice all of that, what else are you noticing as you let your imagination go, trusting your unconscious mind when it is as you want it to be? What does this area of your life look like? And when it looks like that, what does it give you? And take a deep breath as you recognize when it is as you want it to be, what that looks like. And now, when it is as you want it to be, what are you hearing yourself saying? What words are you sharing with yourself? What's it like inside your head as the thoughts are running through? Those beautiful thoughts when it is as you want it to be. And when it is as you want it to be, what are you saying to others? And as you're sharing your words when it is as you want it to be, what are others saying to you? And when it is as you want it to be and your imagination creates it exactly as you want it to be, what else are you hearing? What other sounds are important for you? And take a deep breath, remembering all that you've heard when it is as you want it to be. And now, when it is as you want it to be, what are you feeling? And notice where that feeling is in your body. Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your head or your heart? When it is as you want it to be, what is it that you're feeling? Name that emotion. Turn the volume up on that emotion when it is as you want it to be. What color is this emotion? What is this emotion saying to you? What else are you feeling when it is as you want it to be? And when you see all of that and hear all of that and feel all of that, what does that give you? And when you have that, what does that give you? And when you have that, what does that give you? And take a deep breath now, recognizing all that you've seen, all that you've heard, and all that you feel when it is as you want it to be. And in that breath, lock that sensation with all of your senses into your heart. And just rate now, out of 10, how much do you want that? How much do you want what you've just experienced? And I'd love to either hear from you or hear it in the chat box, the number that you want that for. How much do you want that, Jana? How much do you want that, Dalal? Kadir, you're online too. How much do you want that? Tracey, if you did it, how much do you want it?
I did do it, and it really makes me excited to know that how much better I can feel when I start to do the work that aligns with who I am, and that I'm around the people that, you know, want me to succeed, and that my talents really make an impact. So it just feels good, and it feels the way it should be. You know, that we often hear, you know, working, you have to work a certain way, you know, 9 to 5 in an office or different things. But it's so nice to hear that you can have what you want and be successful and work hard, but also make it what you want, not just what others have told you, you know, maybe your whole.
That's beautiful, Tracey. Thank you for sharing that. And the wonderful thing, as coaches, we support people to look at what they want. We recognize the reality of that. And Dalal has shared, I want this amazing feeling of confidence, too much, of course, but I still have my fears. Yes, Dalal, we do. And so as coaches, now you've got a sense of what's possible for you. And as coaches, we can support people to understand where the fears are coming from and potentially let go of those fears that no longer serve them and replace them with other beliefs to support them to move towards what they really want. So you may have fears in the reality, Dalal, but you've tasted, you've experienced what it is you truly want. And what happens is most people only focus on the fears. They totally forget about the possibilities that are out there. So as coaches, we support people to change their perspectives, to look at things from a different way, to get curious about the ways that they can step into what they want and actually take action steps to make it happen. Jana, you want it 10 out of 10. We love to hear it, because when we want something 10 out of 10, we are more likely to go for it. So it's recognizing what you want, getting clear about it, experiencing it, because our unconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and our imagination. So that tiny little experience you've had tonight, you've already set in motion a vision for yourselves that is possible, because if the mind can believe it, the heart can achieve it. Somebody said that, I can't remember who that quote is by, but we at Empower World absolutely believe that to be true. And we can teach you the tools to take yourself and others on that journey of moving to where you want to be, recognizing and acknowledging the limiting beliefs and fears that may exist in reality, but then changing them, if you want to, of course, into more powerful beliefs. Thank you, Dalal. And actually, those fears, if you want, it's a choice, of course. We often don't let go of those fears or those limiting beliefs because we get something out of it. So I'm going off track a little bit here, and we'll teach you about this in the coach training. We'll teach you what a lot of people tell themselves, and we'll teach you how to support them to create that shift. Of course, it's all about, if they want to let go of those limiting beliefs. So my question for you, Dalal, is those fears, and it's not for now, it's for you to reflect on, is what do you get out of believing those fears? What permission does it give you if you listen to those fears? Okay, so you've got a little bit of a taste of a beautiful way of supporting people to understand what it is they want. And then, of course, it's not just about envisioning things as coaches. We support people to say yes to what they want to make a decision. For example, if you're thinking about taking this coach training program, it's about saying, yes, this is for me, or no, this isn't for me. Because when people say who should come on our coach training program, we say people who want to, people who really want to make a difference in their own lives and in the lives of others. So you say yes, and then you take a plan, you create a plan. You decide, I'm going to do this next. I'm going to set my goals, smart goals, so that they're achievable, but also that they're thrilling and they make my heart sing. So we want plans and goals that really are inspiring, aligned with our values and our passion and our purpose and our mission. And then you take the action steps. And for some people, it's huge action steps that they take immediately. And for others, it's slower, more generous, more thought out action steps. But each step takes us closer to where we want to be. And recognizing the different personality styles of those who will leap and those who will take more time to process things. You'll learn all about those how to work with those different styles of people. So, Tracey, I'm going to ask you to take over from, I'm not sure what this attend events and webinars means.
Yeah, so really this slide is moving from the dream. And if, all of this is, what you're thinking, and you're really, whether it's professional coaching or really just thinking about what you want to do in general, these 6 steps are really great things to think about to move from that dreaming, from that envisioning stage that's so important, to really moving to making a decision. So when you make a decision, you then set in motion, everything coming from the universe and all the people that you talk to start helping you build what you want. And so really this is moving from, if you want to learn more, attend events, webinars such as this, start to hear what people are doing, talk to people, and really just get out there. Speaking and learning from coaches in the field. Empower World just launched a few interviews with people who are coaches, as well as our podcast, our leadership podcast here. We have Karen Kennedy, who was one of our most recent interviewees, and she's an incredible coach. So, if you're in that phase of exploring and envisioning, it's great to really, make the best decisions you can by collecting as much information. So really, this is just one step in how do I get from here to being a professional coach like Janina Marie or Karen, or really anyone, because they did start off in so many ways, not at 20 years old knowing they wanted to be a coach. It really was an evolving process. And, we see them and they're incredible and wonderful, but they really went through all of these stages as well. And so allowing us to kind of be able to be humble, but also be able to take those steps is really important, for any part of our life. So if Marie, you want to share more on that.
Thank you, Tracey. So that is so true. I appreciate you taking that through. Remember, Yana and Dalal and Gadir, I have been where you are. I have been the person who's going to say, yes, I'm going to do that coach training, or no, I'm not. All those concerns about not having enough money or it being a huge investment. Well, let me tell you, it was the best investment I ever made in myself. And I'm really not in the business of selling things, because I believe that people will come who truly want to. But absolutely, If this is right now, maybe later on, then start getting curious about the world of coaching. Janine and I are putting on some workshops the beginning of March. Come along to those workshops. They're half-day workshops and full-day workshops. Start to understand what coaching is, the skills you can learn, listen into our free webinars, sign up to some of our other programs. There's a whole world of coaches out there as well. Listen to all of the coaches around the globe. Go and check out the ICF website. Find out the processes to become accredited, because as you can see, becoming accredited really sets us apart from the crowd. There are people who call themselves coaches who haven't been through an accredited training, and it makes a difference, particularly in the workplace, particularly right now in the Middle East. Coaching is growing, so that the people who want to be coached by people who have been trained and are under a governing body to support them to do that. And I'm waffling here, Tracey. I should move on. So to become certified, the minimum requirement is 60 hours of coach-specific training. Empower World's, we need to change this slide because it's slightly wrong. Empower World's 8-day program is 94.5 hours. You, of course, then have to do 100 hours of coaching, and you're required to do 10 hours of mentor coaching with an accredited mentor coach. Now, Janine and I have set up Empower World Mentor Coach Program for all the coaches that want to work with us for mentoring, but you're not obliged to come with us. You can choose any ICF mentor coach around the globe to support you in your mentoring hours. And when you've done all of the live training, when you've completed your 100 hours, when you've had your mentoring, you're ready to sit the Coach Knowledge Assessment, which is a multiple choice exam, 155 questions set by the ICF. It's online. It takes 3 hours to complete, and you get immediate feedback as to whether you've passed successfully, because you'll have gone through all the training that prepares you to become this accredited coach. And then you can call yourself ACC, Associate Certified Coach, with the ICF. And that it really is a badge of honor, because that means you've committed, you've dedicated, you've stepped into what you truly want, and you've taken the action steps to make it happen. So as most of you know, our coach training begins on February the 25th and 24th. I'm really looking forward to kicking off that coach training with one of our trainers, Melissa, the fabulous Melissa Loizu. And then Janine will be taking the following weekend with another one of our fabulous coaches, Siobhan Whitty. And we'll alternate the weekends like that. We've got another program coming up in April, and then another program coming up in September. So we've had lots of people coming on our program with lots of fantastic feedback that have supported us to learn and grow. We've had, if anybody knows Nicole Van Hattem, she attended our coach training program. Janine and Maria are passionate, skilled, creative educators, coaches and facilitators, professionals with hearts of gold. Thank you, Nicole. Learning from them and growing as a result of being supportively challenged and coached every step of the way. And a wonderful testimonial from Amira Al-Karzaz. She's a psychiatrist at Hamad Medical Corporation. So we thank them and the many, many other people that have been through our coach training that really have had amazing success stories in their own life. Check out our websites for all the rest of the success stories that you can see on there. And I see somebody, Dalal, you've asked a question. Dalal, will you email me privately, and I will talk and send me your contact number, and I will discuss that with you. Great, thank you so much. Now let's see where we are. Okay, so if you take action in the next 20 hours, we're going to reward you for that. Tracey, I'm going to ask you to come on and share with our participants the reward they'll get if they sign up within the next 24 hours?
Wonderful. So, we've gone through this whole webinar today talking about how you can, have an incredible business, incredible life, making income, setting your own hours, like we had Michelle Arska as an example, and really talking about how beneficial finding professional coaching was to them. Whether you want to become your own boss and do this on your own time, or if you want to bring these coach training skills into your companies, we do have people that register through their companies so that they are the head of HR, they're leaders, they're really working across these organizations, and they just really want to kick it up a notch in terms of their professional development. And so there's a ton of reasons why people are seeking professional coaching, and that might be some of the reasons why you're here. You may have completely different reasons why you may want to pursue coaching, but Empower World is the company and is an incredible base here in Doha in Qatar. And so you all are very lucky, if that's where you're located, that you have access to these incredible people and this network. And our next coach training, our next 8-day training, begins next Friday. Now, we realize it's a little bit soon, and if you're thinking about, your next steps, you might just still be in that decision-making phase. But if you do want to take that next step and attend the training beginning next week, the first 3 people to sign up will get a free coaching session with one of our Empower World coaches to support you in this journey. And you will also, on top of the coaching session, get free entry into one of Empower World's half-day self-mastery workshops. And so that is the tennis to any of the half-day workshops that you would like this year for one of those. And then the next 3 people, so if we do have more than 3, will get free entry into that self-mastery workshop. And so we really just want to say thank you for coming on the webinar, that if you are looking to either coach with us in February or in April, or you just want to join us for a workshop or an event in the future, and you really are in that exploratory phase, we're really happy to have you on the call today. And so, without further ado, I think if we go to the next slide, we would love to hear your comments or your questions. I know a few of you have already chatted privately to Marie, but we will be staying for another 10 minutes. If you have questions about anything that we brought up here, or if you have a question that came up that we